Joining me now, Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware. Senator, thank you very much for coming back to the Sunday Show.
Thank you, Jonathan. It is good to be back with you, and it is nice to be called Senator.
I was going to say, it's nice to call you Senator. So, you know what? Let's start this conversation by pointing something out that you just told me before we came on air. A lot's being made of the fact that you and Senator Alsobrooks are, black women who've been elected to the Senate, just the third and the fourth elected. But you told me you are the first black person ever elected from the House to the Senate.
Yes. Tim Scott was appointed. There are different members who have gone directly to the Senate, but that's a piece of history that I learned about recently myself. And so it's truly an honor to represent Delaware and to do it in this fashion.
So let's talk about this Mar-a-Lago party yesterday with John Eastman as the guest of honor. Your reaction to that and this idea that Donald Trump continues to flog the lie that the 2020 election was stolen from him?
You know, it's interesting. I've been reflecting on a quote by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It was actually 83 years ago in his State of the Union on January 6th. And it was about the four freedoms. And in it, he had a line that said, repetition of a lie does not transform it into a truth. It was a lie that Donald Trump won. And they can repeat and repeat that January 6th was a tourist event or anything else. But for those who were in that building, like those officers, like the people who cleaned afterwards, like the members, we know it's real. We know how close we were to a country, as how close we were to losing our democracy. And so for me, when I think of this day, three things come to me. One, remember, we should never forget what happened. I think of reflecting on what does this mean? How important is our democracy to us? And then I think about recommitting. And that's what I did up in that gallery. I prayed for all of us. I didn't pray for Democrats. I didn't pray for Republicans. I prayed for all of us, and I prayed for love over hate and hope over fear. That was it. And so we are going to continue to do that work. And that's what I'm going to do tomorrow as I think about this important day, is remember, reflect, and make sure that we are committed to the democracy and the freedom of this country.
And so does that mean you will vote to certify the 2024 presidential election?
I will do my duty. And I think that's really important in this moment. There are people who are watching us. And so, I think it is really important that I represent my whole state. I understand that we saw a lie in 2020 when they said that Trump won. He won this election. I will do my duty to certify the election.
Do you know of any plans by other Democrats to lodge any kind of objections tomorrow?
I don't. Yeah, I have not heard that from anyone.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your new chamber, yes. The Senate. The new majority leader, Senator John Thune, has been making the rounds. A lot of attention being paid to his relationship with Donald Trump, such as it is. One thing he said, I'm trying to find this note here. One thing he said in his floor speech was that there are a lot of people out there who would like to see the Senate turn into a copy of the House of Representatives. And then he goes on to say, and that is not what our founders intended or what our country needs. You are a former member of the House. What is it about the House that, and in the way the House is run, that is, quote, not what our country needs?
Well, I can't speak for Senator Thune, but what I can say is that in my time in the House, I loved the work that we did. I am listed as one of the most bipartisan members, and part of it for me was how do we get things done? And so to me, if what is about getting things done is going to happen in the Senate, then I'm all for it. We've been able to work on things like strengthening our supply chains or working on clean drinking water and clean air, which is important to Delaware as the lowest mean elevation state in the country. And so for me, I'm going to continue to work on jobs. I tell people if I had another middle name, it'd be Lisa Blunt Jobs Rochester. That would be my second middle name, because it is so important to my constituents. It's important to me. So I think that spirit of bipartisan work is what I'm going to carry on in the Senate, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got, some great opportunities to work on housing affordability, great opportunities to work on supply chains and health care, and so those are the things that I'm going to do when I get there.
Let me ask you the question I asked.
Tomorrow, actually.
Right, tomorrow. Well, let me ask you what I asked Congressman Robert Garcia of California yesterday. A lot of talk about the reconciliation bill that's about to come. And in it, jammed in it, is going to be a renewal of the Trump tax cuts. Is that something you would vote for? A reconciliation bill might have housing in it, might have infrastructure stuff in it, but if it has the Trump tax cuts in it, is that something you think you could still vote for?
The bottom line for us is that this is about fairness. It's not fair that billionaires and millionaires get tax cuts and average Americans don't. And so for me, I'm going to be looking at how do we make sure that people have enough to be able to live and thrive. I'm going to be looking at this bill and saying, does it really uplift people instead of just some people? Uplift all of us. And I think that's probably one of the key differences. We are focused on fighting for American working families. And so we'll see what they put in front of us. But right now, we have our North Star, and it's fighting for the people. Right.
Let me get you on one more thing. Senator Thune has made it clear it's not getting rid of the filibuster. In July of 2023, you put out a tweet when everybody was talking about get rid of the filibuster. You wrote, the filibuster is an archaic tool created to hinder America's progress. As Delaware's next United States Senator, you can count on my vote to abolish the filibuster once and for all. I had that same position back then. Stuff's changed, Senator. Do you still have that position today?
I mean, I think for me, the filibuster is arcane. I think when you look at the history and the roots of it, but I do believe it has to be reformed. And, right now, we don't know what's going to come. We don't know what this president's going to do, what this Senate is going to do. And when I came into Congress in 2016, I came in with Donald Trump. I came in the minority, and we were still able to get things done. So my priority is always thinking about what's best for Delaware and what's best for this nation. And so I'm going to continue to fight the good fight. I'm excited, to be able to be in this position and also to be in it with my sister, Senator Angela Alsobrooks.
Do you know what your committees are yet?
I do.
Oh, what are they?
So I am going to be on the health. We have health, employment, labor, and pensions.
Right.
I'm going to also be on the banking and housing committee, so I'll get to work on housing affordability.
Yep.
I'll also be on the commerce committee, which is where I hope to really get a chance to work on our supply chain bill. Everybody found out what supply chains were during the pandemic when you couldn't get baby formula, right. Lumber prices went up. So to strengthen our economy and work on commerce is exciting. And then APW, Environment and Public Works. As I mentioned, Delaware is the lowest mean elevation state in the country. We feel it. Our environmental justice communities, our farmers, we feel the effects of climate.
You are going to be busy.
Oh, I'm going to be busy. But my word for people always ask, what's your word? It was focused. It was motivated. Now it is ready. We are ready to do this work.
All right. Is she ready?
She's
Senator
ready.
Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware, thank you very much for coming back to the Sunday Show.
Thank you.